What's up, everybody? This is my first time actually on YouTube Live. I just got approved today, and I'm so excited to come to you guys. I know it's a little bit late, but I'm coming to you. My name is Savion. I'm an AI consultant here in Miami, and I'm coming to you as part of the 100-day AI Build Challenge that Managed Marketing Partners is doing. And what we're going to do today is actually build a small app using vibe coding, and which is AI just kind of talking it out. You don't even need to know code. So this is really, really simple. We're going to use a simple API as well. If you're not familiar with the term API, API stands for Application Programmable Interface. Essentially allows you to borrow data from another server or another cloud service and bring it into what you're building as well. So you can actually create apps using data from somewhere else, right? So it's really cool. So for today's app, what we're going to do is actually build an app it's going to be a really basic one that allows you to do phone number validation. There's actually a really cool website called phonevalidator.com, and they have an API that's integrated into it. It is paid for, but it's like literally I made two calls, and it's like less than a penny, right, to actually get it validated. It's a fraction of a penny, right? So it's really, really cheap. It's really easy to use. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. This is my first live, so I don't know who will be here interested in this kind of content, but I'm here bringing it to you every single day going forward. Today is July 3rd, Friday. We're going to be building for the next, say, roughly 68 days or so. Every day is going to be a new app. I'm coming to you live on YouTube to be able to do a end-to-end build live with you, just so you can see how easy it is to build with AI, okay? So the purpose of these videos is to kind of relieve the pressure off of you, help you understand how to use and talk with AI, and help you understand my framework as well, so you can implement it in your builds too. So let's talk about setup. So when you're today, we're going to be working in a tool called Claude Code. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's from Anthropic, and basically what we're going to be doing is building a folder within our local drive, so that way Cloud Code can only access that folder. That's important. So without going into the high level of things there, let's go ahead and just jump right in. I'm gonna see if I can share my screen. Oh, I can. That's actually pretty simple to do. Let me see here. I'm just gonna share my entire screen here. Oh, I like that. That's pretty cool. You can share your screen and it just pops in. Guys, this is my first YouTube live, so bear with me. So what we're gonna do here is I created a shell script. So this shell script actually allows us to create folders for each day that we have our lives. So basically creates like a boilerplate of all the different kind of React scripts and different dependencies that we need for our build. So for today's build, we're on day 32. If you haven't checked it out yet, check out my project website for this challenge. It's 100-day AI. Let me just type it in here. 100-day AI challenge.com/share/Savion. Right? Boom. So if you go there, you'll see a collection of all of my apps, okay? I have about 31 of them. There's some really cool ones that I want to point out. Day 31 is, let me actually go to that website real quick for you guys. And I'll pop it open here. So it's 100dayAIchallenge.com/share/Savion. And we are going to go through some of the apps that I've built here. So there's some really cool ones here. And actually, let me go to the actual shareable site that I gave you guys here, because it actually, one second here. It looks better. There you go. So if you scroll down, you can see all the apps, including screenshots. Obviously, my first app was this daily journal. And then I've built several different apps. Now, one of the really cool ones that I really want to point out for you guys, one is Choice Wheel. This is a crowdsource wheel spinner. It allows you to share like a unique link with other guests, and they can add to the wheel as well in real time, which is pretty cool. For those music lovers, I created a music app as well using a drum machine emulation here, which is pretty cool. And this is a pretty cool live action, basically tic-tac-toe game. This actually uses the NASA API to be able to get global disasters and wildfires and things like that that are going on. I've also integrated a country API as well to be able to serve as an education app that allows you to see what the country is and what are the stats. It's actually a really cool app. Just kind of real quick here. See if you hover over them, you can see like the different countries. And if you click on a country, you see you have stats over here on the right for like population. This is a really cool education app. And also it's using the live API feed. So it actually takes the photos from the NASA's Epic camera. And this one's from the 25th of June. All right, so it's live updates. As you can see, I actually built this in Fable 5, if you're familiar with that. And yeah, it's really, really cool. And when you click on that, you get the information about the disasters that are happening right now. A lot of wildfires going on in Florida as well right now. So yeah, there's really interesting stuff here. So there's a few other really cool apps. If you go to this website, you can scroll down. This one actually uses a really cool API for food facts. So you can scan any product. It has access to over 3 million different products. You can scan in the grocery store and find a healthier alternative based on your goals of sugar, salt, whatever, right? That's on this app as well. There's a bunch of stuff here. There's about 31. This is really good for truck crews, right? It's called Route Mate. It allows you to put in all of your routes for the day, and it allows you to optimize that route to be able to save you on fuel costs and effort, and makes you a lot more efficient as well. This uses Google APIs. That's a really cool API set right there. You guys really should pay attention to if you guys want to build some really cool apps. Integrating data that already exists. It's a lot easier than just popping it in from scratch. So I love APIs. So for today's API, we're going to be building from an API called Phone Validator. Really, really easy. It allows you to validate any phone in the world, right? And we're going to go ahead and get started by just building out our folder. So I'm going to go here. I created a CLI script, basically computer language interface, and it basically works in terminal, right? So here, today is day 32. It's going to ask us like an interview of questions of how we want to set up the folder. And we're going to create a web app with next.js. And we're going to, no, we don't need it. Superbase is going to be really simple. Superbase, if you're unfamiliar, is a database. We've gone through it a couple of times in a lot of our videos, a lot of our apps integrated. But we'll be able to cover that another time as well. Let me see here. Okay. Uh-oh. Where's my terminal? Okay. Oops. Pop that back there. No, we're not going to include AI, and we don't need Stripe payments. We've used that in another one before, but we can integrate Stripe's API as well. That's really how you connect deeply into apps to be able to make it your own within your app, to like integrate it, right? And we're going to just call this really simple, phone validator. Validator. If I can spell, that would be amazing. Phone validator. And we'll say yes. This is the build we want. And it is building our folder here. So this script actually follows a whole process to build a folder. And it includes all of our publishing scripts, our deployment scripts, with all of our keys are ready. So it saves us time in the long run when we're getting this deployed live. All right. Let's see here. Oh, very cool. So I get access to more features as I keep going live on YouTube. Nice. All right. So YouTube, I'm so happy I'm here. And I hope you guys learned something really cool today. So as you can see here, it did build our folder, day 32 phone validator, right? And inside the folder, you can see it has a bunch of stuff already that we're going to be using in our project here. And look, it just added some more stuff, including a really important file called ClaudMD that basically acts as the second brain for Claude. So that way, if we run out of window context, it'll always remember where we are, what we've been working on, everything. So we can clear the contacts with the compact and just start off right where we left off, okay? The deploy sh script basically deploys to Versal, which is our platform that we deploy all of our apps to, which is really easy to do. And our publish.sh script just basically publishes to GitHub. And yes, this build that we're building today is going to be published on GitHub for you guys to grab. You can clone it and repurpose it for your apps as well. So it makes it really, really easy, open source, and shareable, right? And all the rest of the stuff is just information about like the build and the package contents for React and stuff. So nothing too much to worry about there. Now, the reason why we did that is in Claude. Hold on one second here. Boop. All right, in Claude, you get to choose the folder, like I mentioned before, you get to choose the folder where you want to store your project. So we're going to go into our folder for our challenge, and we're going to choose a new folder that we made. Et voila. There we go. Now you notice, because I have everything hooked up, it's already connected to my GitHub branch. So it's really, really easy to work with and deploy as soon as I'm ready, right? I just give the command and boom, it just does it. I don't need to know codes or anything because it's already hooked up because we did the work prior. Now, I'm going to use a really cool feature. I'm just going to use the microphone right here. It just makes it really easy to build more complex prompts without having to type, right? So, hey there, today's day 32 of 100, and don't do anything yet. We're just talking here, and this is day 32 of the 100-day AI build. And for today's build, it's going to be really something simple. I wanted to create a interface that allows people to enter a phone number and validate the phone number using the phone validation API. I already have that API key. So what I'm envisioning is a login portal where people can log in via Google Auth or a form. And once they're in, they get presented with a basically an input field where they can go ahead and enter a phone number. Make sure you regex the phone number so that way it's formatted correctly. And once they enter it, it's going to hit the API to be able to validate and grab all the information about the validation and output that on the screen for the user to see. We're not storing anything, so we don't really need Superbase or anything like that. We just need Google Auth to be able to get things kicked off here. And I'm imagining also so that people can also add their own API keys. Let's make this like a two-page app. Past the login screen, we're going to have just the main screen, which is the app where they can enter their phone number and validate it. And then the second page is going to be the config page where they're able to enter their phone validator API key. So that way each person has their own API key that they can work with. That API key should be stored locally, and it would be great if you can also make sure that it is secured with encryption as well. With encryption. Now you can see I just went on and on and on, right? As I'm building this idea and IDing it with Claude, so that way we can build something really cool. Now, one thing I always like to add to my prompts is this. That's the whole idea of the app. If you can think of other really cool things that maybe we can add to the app, even if it's like a stretch goal or if it's something that's we can build for free, that would be amazing to be able to enhance the quality and the usability of the app. I'd love to know your thoughts on this idea. What do you think? So that long prompt was just phase 1 out of 4 of my typical format, right? So my framework is consultation. So that's what we just did. So we ID'd back and forth with our virtual assistant. Basically, that's what Claude is. It's our virtual assistant. It's helping us do things. So consultation, planning. So in the planning phase, we basically scaffold out the entire thing, including the phasing and everything about the app. So we have consultation, planning, implementation. That's when we actually go into the build, and then deployment, right? Now, it's the first 2 steps are the most important, right? So consultation allows you to spit out your original idea. I always ask, what do you think about this idea? So that way my virtual assistant knows that it's empowered to give me some pushback or have some ideas and opinions on how we should build it. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, your virtual assistant does know more than you, right? Let's be real. But it doesn't know how you work or how you like to work, right? So this part of the phase is training your AI, your virtual assistant, on what you're building, how you're building it, what you like to see, and how you like to build, right? And then it'll give you some ideas as well, like, hey, you should think about this. Oh, you know what? That might be more complex for this timeline that you're looking to build this in. Blah, blah. It'll give you the whole thing. So you'll be iterating back and forth with your virtual assistant, maybe for a good 30 minutes, and that's healthy, right? After that iteration and that IDing session, you'll go into the planning phase. That planning phase is also really crucial because this is where your virtual assistant will showcase to you exactly how it's interpreted your conversation with it and how it's going to build, right? It'll show you the technology. It'll show you the scaffolding of the folder structure. It'll show you the phasing out of how things will work, right? And the planning phase is really important because once you get into implementation, you could just set it on go. And it'll just start building. And if it gets lost at some point, it can always go back to the planning conversation layout, right? And it'll always get itself back on track. I'll be able to show you all of this live here today. And we'll be building this, end to end. Oh, and by the way, I also need to send you the website for the API documentation for the phone validator. But first, I'd love to get your thoughts and your opinion on this build for today. So when I send it, that's when we start the conversation with our virtual assistant. And just those that are wondering, I'm on Opus 4.8 right now. I really could be using Sonnet 5, which is Claude's new model there. It actually uses less tokens, but I'm on the max plan. I just, because of Fable 5 coming out um, yesterday, last night, I decided to go with the 20 times plan on max, and I have plenty of room to grow. So I'm not too worried about using Opus at the moment because I want to be able to really push hard with this. But typically, what I'd recommend, just to kind of make sure you budget yourself, always when you're having conversations like this, you don't really need Opus. You don't. You really don't. Um, you can use something like the new Sonnet 5. Plenty. And please don't use Fable 5 to do this kind of work. I'm not even using Fable 5, okay? You'd use Fable 5 when you go into the implementation phase and maybe even the planning phase, right? But for this consultation, this IDing back and forth, use Sonnet 5, or if you're really feeling fancy, you can use Opus, but Sonnet 5, it's going to be more than enough for sure. Okay. So let's see here. What do we have? Love this one. Savion is genuinely a good day 32 pick. Small enough to finish cleanly, but with two spots where the right engineering call isn't the obvious one. Auth without a database and encrypt. Oh, you're right. Gosh. See? I said no to Superbase and it was like, You might want to rethink that. All right. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to restart this. You know what? I want to make sure I do this right. So sometimes, it'll redirect you, and that's okay. That's really important. I'm going to go ahead and recreate another folder for day 32. So that way it includes the Superbase login credentials and also the Google Auth, because I don't know why I didn't think about that in the build. So day 32, we're going to say yes. We want Superbase because we're going to do logins. Yes, we're going to do Google sign-in. No, we don't need AI. And no, we don't need Stripe. And no, we do not need email. And we're going to call it phone validator. Confirm build. Yes. The other thing we're going to do, I just copied this prompt that I literally just sent to Claude. We're going to delete this right here, and we're going to just start again. All right, so we are waiting for this folder to be rebuilt here. Let's take a look at the terminal. All right, so it's creating everything right now. As you can see, I've done the same process a few times already here. You can see it's working, it's building everything out. All right, we have a day 32 folder. And let's just make sure it finishes so that when we add it as a project folder for our Claude, it has everything it needs. We're just going to wait for the confirmation here. You see where it says completed here? We're waiting for that right there. And we got it. Boom, completed. All right, cool. So we're going to go ahead and open that folder there. We're going to go ahead and paste our prompt. And actually, you're right. I do want to use Superbase and Google Auth. I've already connected Superbase to this project folder, and you should see all the details for Google Auth in this folder as well. So that way we can get everything set up for the authentication. And in terms of the API key, now that we have Superbase, let's go ahead and save this to their RLS row, so that way it can persist no matter what device you're on. It's just part of their login, kind of like how we've been doing it for all the other apps. Now we'll be able to store that, but make sure we encrypt it as well, and that way it's safe and secure. Some of the other cheap wins that you mentioned, I do like. You said test is key. I like that. I do like the API credit balance display. That might be interesting. I'm not sure if the phone validator includes that information, but if it does, please, yes, let's go ahead and include that. And let's set up a bulk validation option where we can upload a CSV and validate a bulk amount at the same time. That'd be great. What we're gonna pre-send this. Now you see it's a different color right here on the bottom. That means you have it queued up. So when it's queued up, you don't have to do anything. Once it's finished its process that it's working on right now, it'll automatically go ahead and run that prompt there that you just put in. Actually, I'm going to edit that real quick. You mentioned test key. I don't know why it came out as test key. Test key. Very, very good. Oh, and can you just generate the master secret for me? I don't want to know what it is. Just go ahead and just do it for me, so that way we can keep everything secured. Thank you. Now, before we go into the implementation phase, let's go ahead and jump into planning. Let's plan this whole app out for me, please, including scaffolding, phasing, everything like that, just so that way we have a full plan. Look, and also if you look here, you can see it knows that I do that every time, and then it says, oh wait, hold on, it's asking for the full plan for the validator, right? So it's asking for the phone validator doc, and then see, it says, and then I'll lay out a full plan because it knows that I love to do that. So let me go ahead and go to the API docs for this particular app. And look at this. It's a fraction of a penny per lookup. It's incredible. View API documentation. Here is the, I'm going to say, here is the website for the version 4 of the docs. Boop. And we'll just have it do it straight, pull everything, all the endpoints. You see it's fetching. So it's actually going out on the web. It's going to pull all of this information here, all the latest endpoints, and what information can be available, right? Uh, it's pulling in all of this stuff. And this is a really simple API. It's called phonevalidator.com. Yeah, it's like a one-page API document. So we're just waiting for this to go through and read the entire document here. It says, now I have the real API contract, and one finding changes the feature we discussed. Let me flag it. See? The credit balance feature isn't directly possible. Phone Validator version 4 has no account balance endpoint, but the API gives us two honest attributes. Every lookup response includes a cost field. I'll show last lookup cost and a running spend this session tally. Cool. Status 504, insufficient account funds. A clear you're out of funds banner when it happens. Beautiful. Instead of showing the running spend this session only, can you also show the total spend as well for the account? Okay. There we go. I'll fold that into plan. So now it's going to go ahead and start the planning. So it's thinking right now. And see, you guys, I'm walking you through this step by step. Some of it can be pretty mundane, but it's really important to follow these steps to the T, so that way you can actually create predictable results, and you don't just allow your AI to just go out and build whatever it wants. And sometimes, even though how smart it is, it can build something that can maybe harm or kind of, not produce the right product that you want, right? So this is a really responsible way of managing your AI builds. And again, it's a four-step framework: consultation, planning, implementation, deployment, right? Each step is super important. And right now we're in the planning phase. So we fed it the API doc. So this is the doc here that tells it all about everything we're doing. Now it knows everything. Now it's going to go ahead and create everything that it needs using Superbase, which is our SQL or our database, right? That allows us to store information to persist across logins and different devices. And this also gives us the ability to do logins so people can have their own searches and add their own API keys. So I don't have to be stuck paying for everybody's searches. They can just basically enter their own API key, which is awesome. And if you look here, we actually have a full plan. Let's read it real quick. I always like to read a little bit of it, right? You don't need to know how to code or anything like that or what a lot of this stuff means, but it's just basically just kind of running through the idea what we're looking at, just to see if there's any call outs that you notice right away. You're like, I don't want it like that, or you want to refine something specifically, but let's take a look. Context: a logged in utility for validating phone numbers via the Phone Validator version 4 API. Each user brings their own Phone Validator API, which is stored encrypted per user in Supabase. Persists across devices as part of their Google login. The app validates single numbers with a rich results card, supporting bulk CSV validation, lets user test their key, tracks the spend. Auth is already fully wired. Supabase, Google Auth, proxy protects every non-auth route. We build the app on top of that scaffold and match its existing patterns. Blah, blah, blah. API facts that drive the design. Here are the endpoints. Here are the query parameters. Here are the responses, right? Here's the cost. No balance endpoint. Status codes. Here are some of the decisions that we've made. Encryption. This is how we're going to be encrypting. This is the master key and how it's going to be generated. Like, it gives you everything you want to think about. It even gives you the Supabase schema that you normally have to paste into Supabase, which again is the database we're going to be using. It basically just gives you the schema that you can just paste into the SQL editor, and that'll be able to build the rows and the tables for you as well. Now, I do have an MCP for Supabase connected to my Claude. MCP is another term that I want you guys to learn about. It stands for Model Context Protocol. And essentially, it allows you to create a pipeline between two different worlds. Think about Super Mario and Earth, right? Like, there's a pipeline between that, right? So Mario can come down to Earth. We can come down to, Super Mario World, whatever, right? You get the idea. It's that visual pipeline between the two different worlds. And that enables us to be able to use and do things in the other world, right? So unlike an API, which allows us to grab things from another world and use it within our world, an MCP allows us to do things in another world as well, right? So for this example with Supabase, Supabase has an MCP for Claude that allows us to automatically just create the tables without having to go to the website, log in, go to the SQL tab, enter it manually, run it, right? There's a lot of steps there that get skipped with the MCP, so use MCP whenever you can. And again, MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. Okay. And this is, that was my tangent there for that. So here are our library of folders and files and everything we're doing. Here's the phase. Very, very easy app tonight, okay? So what we can do is we can make changes if we wanted to, or we could just accept them, which is what we're going to do. And I'm going to do one other thing as well, because we've already ID'd it with our Claude. We've already planned thoroughly with our Claude, our virtual assistant. I'm just going to go ahead and bypass permissions. This I would never do on a live client website. But bypassing permissions just allows us to skip the little windows that pop up that ask for permission for little different steps that it'll have to take, right? It can be potentially dangerous, but there's two things on our side. One, we're not working with a live client. This is just a kind of a sample app that we're building. And two, it doesn't have access to our entire computer. We're using a folder within our computer that we selected at the beginning, called Day 32 Phone Validator. So there we go. So now we can go ahead and relax and enjoy the show, essentially, because it's actually going to go ahead and just build everything out for us. And once we have the implementation done, we can refine it, add different styles if we wanted to make it look fancier or have certain things, right? We can go ahead and iterate after the implementation as well. And then once we're happy and we're satisfied and everything works, we've done our smoke testing. Smoke testing basically is just, again, making sure everything's working. There's no fires, right? And nothing's broken on the back end, right? So we just make sure, like, say we enter a phone number, it does validate, right? Um, and we validate also that the rejects works and everything like that. By the way, if there's any vocab that I'm using right now that doesn't quite make sense, please put it in the comments, and I'll be happy to go ahead and run through it again with you, and I'll reply back to your comments so that way you can get your questions answered. So building with AI and having knowledge around bills is a lot easier for you in the future, because this is the future, guys. AI is definitely something not to ignore for sure. And vibe coding is incredible. You know, I'm a traditional web developer. I built originally from HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? Way back when. Then I went into WordPress when I was like, why am I building everything from scratch when I can just build from scratch from a template of sorts, right? Click and drag, make it really easy for my clients, right? That was really the selling point, making it easy for my clients to go ahead and build and modify their sites. And then AI exploded, and vibe coding really became really good and popular. It's still growing in popularity, but it's become really, really good, especially with Cloud Code. And now you can build a website or an app or anything that you can imagine from scratch in a day. And I do this every day for the next 100 days, right? This is a 100-day challenge to prove that fact. And you can build an MVP of an app that you can show to an investor or to a team, right? To showcase an idea of what you want to build in less than a day. So, again, if you want to see the rest of my apps that I built, the link is in the comments, okay? So let's take a look here. It is still building here. So it's doing a lot of stuff right now. Not only is it building out the app itself, but it's also integrating the backend server, which is our Superbase, which is going to store all of our information, right? Then it has to wire everything in. It has to connect all the dots. And again, you don't need to know any of this. You really don't need to know any of this because it's going to do this for you. But it's good for you to know this. And you don't need to know it right away, right? And you won't know it right away unless you've already been developing and everything like that. Like I have, right? Coming from the traditional web development background, you know certain things, certain ways to talk, certain ways of how things work, right? Working with MySQL and things like that, right? So when you know that kind of stuff, it does help, right? Kind of refine your vision and how you want the technology to play nice with you. But you don't need to know, because the cool thing is, the more you work with AI, the more AI is going to teach you, right? Based on like all the different builds that you're building, like things that you run up against, issues, challenges, and how you navigate around it. You'll learn from all of that, right? So that way you can predict it in the future. AI is going to teach you vocabulary, right? So that way you can start using that within your day-to-day, right? And then using that vocabulary with your new instances or your new sessions with your favorite LLM, and it'll know, and it'll be more specific with how you build, right? So AI will teach you as much as you also will teach AI, right? Because again, you're training your AI, your virtual assistant, to work, think, look, function, however way you want it to be, right? And how you like to work. So that way, eventually, it'll learn and it'll just start doing it, right? Like I showed you the example before. For the past 30 days, I've been going through this framework of consultation, planning, implementation, deployment. And so it knows after I talk with it, I'm going to want to go into the planning phase. So it just suggested it, right? It knows not to jump ahead and just start building, because that's chaos. We don't want that. We want control with our AI, right? And by phasing it out in this framework, you get the best predictable, effective results out of your AI. The cool thing I love about working with Claude as well is that it actually does its own smoke testing. So after it finishes a build, it'll actually go in and test itself, like fill out the forms, click on pages, make sure everything's functioning right before it hands it over to you for you to test, right? And I love that, right? It self corrects, which is my favorite part. Let's see. Alrighty. Yeah, so we're just chilling. Grab your popcorn, grab your favorite adult beverage, and just let it do its thing, right? It's working for you right now, right? And that's why I call it your virtual assistant, because it really is at the end of the day. It's a member of your team. That's how I like to look at it. Your AI is a member of your team. So you're no longer a team of one. If you're a solopreneur, right? You're a team of two. You have your virtual assistant with you. And just for entertainment and also making sure everything's on track. You can also read through the different stages that it's outputting for you here. Right now, main single lookup page, a server component that reads settings plus the interactive validation panel. Now the interactive validation panel part. And look, it self-corrected itself. I left a nonsense expression in the country label. Let me fix it to show you the real calling code. Yep, phase 2 complete. Now phase 3, the bulk CSV upload page. Phase 3 is done. Now phase 4, navigation, sign out, layout. Let me read the current layout first. See, so it's going through all of these phases here. Okay. Great. So once it stops blinking, that means that it is done working. So let's take a look and see what we have to do now. So what's built? Foundation, super base table, phone validator settings, per user, RLS locked, atomic phone number add, spend, RPC, apply to the sandbox, right? The API client that normalizes the rest of the phone basic response and maps every status code to the friendly copy, super base helpers. Just high level it, guys. If you don't know what any of this means, just have a rough idea of what's going on, and that's good enough in the beginning, right? 3 pages behind Google Auth, validate, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Oh, and can we please not forget a forgot password flow, just in case people forget their password. I also, within that spirit, I want to make sure we also have a standard username and password login option, just in case they don't want to use their Google profile and just want to create a simple login. So now we're iterating again with our Claude to continue the build here. Let's see here. The authenticated end-to-end path, Google sign-in, saving, Arial key, live lookups. Okay. And yes, after we do this update, let's go ahead and start the dev server so we can log in and walk through it live. Okay, one of the other things I love about Cloud is it gives you some options here. So how should password reset and sign up emails be sent for this app? We're going to be using Sandbox. No, what's it called? Superbase. Sorry, I meant to say that we're going to be using Superbase native password reset email flow. Not Sandbox. I don't know what that is. We do not want that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's working with the native Superbase functionality right now. Obviously, we'll be using a Google auth for this sample, but I wanted to at least have that alternative for those that don't have a Google account. All right, the dev server is open. Here we go. Now we can go ahead and open up our special website here. Let me go ahead and bring this over to this screen. so we can see what we build. Really simple, right? Create, sign in. We have our continue with Google. This is already hooked up via Superbase. If you'd like to see a video of that below, type in the word Google Auth in the comments or in the chat, and I'd love to create a video on that as well for you guys, just to get a little bit more techy, right? A little nerdy, but that's what we'll need to create this Google authentication experience on your websites. And it's what makes it really, really simple. So now we're in the website, right? We have our phone validator, validate, bulk, config, and now it tells us we need to add your phone validator API key before validating. Go to config. So now we're in config. Here's our API key, and we can see the spin and everything there, which is awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this API key offline here, and I will go ahead and paste it in here. Just a moment. Okay, now I can test the key. Key is valid and working. There we go. That's what we like to see. And so now, boom. All right, so it may cost a fraction of a cent. That's fine, right? We've already done it. We're looking good. All right. So let's go ahead and start a validation. We have all the countries in the world that we can choose from, right? Now, one thing I always like to do is just kind of refine this so it makes it easier to find things, right? Let's do this. What I'm going to do is go back to Claude and talk to it. Hey, so the country drop-down selector is using the native selector. Can we make this a custom selector that allows you to filter by typing in letters, and it filters out the countries to what you're typing in? We want to make sure this app looks beautiful, premium, overall, right? Like a premium app that people will want to use every day. Okay, so you're going to see what it does here. It's going to be really, really cool because we had a vision, we had an imagination of what we want, because who wants to see this, right? Like, that's really ugly, right? So what we're going to be building is a filterable popover, essentially, that allows you to type in and filter to just what you're looking for. We're going to do that. Perfect. See, it's even asking us for the aesthetic, what we're looking for, right? And it's going to change it right away. So we're going to see this update in real time here, because what we're working on right now is our local server, so localhost 3000, right? So we're working locally, and so whatever changes Cloud makes, it'll automatically reflect here as well. And see, it even agrees with me. The great instinct, the native select is the most unfinished part of the UI right now, and the searchable country combo box plus a real design pass will move this from a functional to premium. The searchable country selector is happening regardless. I'll build one reusable typehead combo box. It includes flags. Look at that. The one thing I don't want to guess on is the overall visual direction of the premium, and we've defined it right there. And now it's creating more CSS for us. CSS is cascading style sheets that allow you to basically control the visuals of your whatever your end user sees on your website, right? So we're just waiting for this to finish. And let's go ahead and see if we can grab a phone number using, guess, one of my apps that I built. So I built an app that has a Google scraper, Google Places scraper. So we're going to go ahead and look that up right now, and we'll get phone numbers from that. So we have, it's called Google Mate. Remember, everything that we're building today is on GitHub for you to be able to clone if you wanted to repurpose it for your needs. We're going to sign in with Google here. Again, I integrated the Google Auth, which is awesome. All right, so now we have our scans that we've done before. So let's go to fence installers. We have a few here, right? Let's grab Alpha Fence Contractors. All right, this is another app we built. It's really, really cool. It allows you to scrape Google Places, grab their reviews, have an AI in-depth analysis of the business from their website and their Google business page, everything. It does everything. If you want me to go over some of the things that we've built, I'd love to create a separate video as well about that. But everything's accessible using the website that I sent in the chat as well. So we have a phone number here, wada bam. And now we just gotta wait for this to finish. We really don't need to wait for it to finish, but it'll be cool to see the new UI, right? Oh, here we go. Look, doesn't that look much better? It looks much better than the other one before. And now we can just type in United States. Boom. It looks so pretty. And it was just a simple prompt, right? It's doing something right now. Oh, it's creating the bulk panel. Okay. So what we can do, let's see here. This doesn't look like a valid phone number. So we just tested the regex, right? So regex allows us to set specific formats, right? And you see it's actually, putting the dashes and the things that we need there. So we have our phone number here. Let's validate the phone number. Et voila. So it's validated. Carriers AT&T, countries United States, Miami, US. It's a cell phone. And this lookup costed that much money. Let's do another one. Let's do Pico's Lawn and Landscaping, right? Let's go ahead and copy that. Pretty cool. We just go like this, boom, validate phone number, and it's validated. Et voila. So now we have this validated, and now we can see our costs over time, right? It's a fraction of a penny, folks. A fraction of a penny. And we're able to do this because we have this API connected, which connects to this website, not this website, phonevalidator.com, right? And it uses the information from here and feeds it right into our app, into our beautiful custom validation, right? Just like that. See? And here, there's a few things we could do with this, right? We can integrate another system through an API like HighLevel. HighLevel is an incredible all-in-one software for businesses and entrepreneurs that allows you to do anything, literally anything you want. And they are at the forefront of AI. I love HighLevel, and I use it every day for my business as well. And you can actually, they have an API to your apps as well that'll allow you to even, when you create a new contact, it'll automatically use and pull from this API and validate the phone number for you automatically, which is really awesome. So some things to think about for the future builds, but definitely I'll be coming to you guys shortly with some more high-level videos as well. um, different API integrations. I'm really big into the techie part of it. So if you like the the in-depth tutorials of getting into the nitty-gritty to create super custom stuff, and you're okay with getting a little, your hands a little dirty, you're in the right place. Again, my name is Savion. I'm an AI consultant, and this is what I do. And I'll be building apps for the next, if I can do my math, 68 days, right? For the next 68 days, I'll be building one app a day, right? Up to 100 apps in a day, 100 apps in 100 days. So, guys, we built our app today. Right now, it's just going through its own process here in Claude. You see that it moved it over to Claude's preview MCP, so that way it can kind of make sure everything looks good before pushing it back to us over here. Look, there we go. And it's back. And now we have our bulk updater as well. So I can literally, I can do this. I can upload a CSV. I have a CSV that we can upload. Where is that CSV? Where is that CSV? Okay, so there's two fake phone numbers in here, right? So we'll be able to see these fake phone numbers fail, which is pretty cool. And let's go ahead and open this up. This is CSV, right? No validity for format numbers found. Check the file list. Okay, so see, it gives us an error that we can set up here. Let's see. So it's just looking for the phone numbers, right? So now we can say, hey, if the CSV that we're uploading actually contains other data, just extract the phone number and output that. Okay, so for the bulk updater, sometimes the CSV the user will upload will have other data in rows, in different columns, I mean. Just simply ignore the rest of the columns, just extract the phone numbers and output those for the bulk validation. Let me see if I can find the other. Here we go. So if you're looking for like some really cool resources for leads, there's an awesome application called Outscraper. It's really cheap as well, and it gives you tons of leads. It uses Google Scraper, reviews, Yelp. It can pull leads from anywhere. So definitely check that out. It's a really cool resource. It's called Outscraper. Okay, so now it's saying, hey, good catch. A good catch, fella. So it's saying, good catch. Right now, the parser only looks at the first column. So a real world CSV with numbers in column 3, name, phone, or email would get everything skipped. Let me change it to scan every column per row and pick the first cell that validates a phone number. Other columns just naturally don't validate, so they'll ignore. The bulk UI is behind the auth. So I can't dive into preview without logging in, but I can verify the extraction logic directly, which is more reliable. First, a small copy tweak to the UI reflects the new behavior, then a logic test. Actually, instead of doing it like that, which can be pretty rough and may not provide the most predictable results, can we actually have a mapping process where once you upload the CSV, you can map the phone number row that you want to validate? That's actually smarter, guys, because if you just have it just willy-nilly and like find the first row that has a phone number, it may not be the row that you actually want to use for the phone number run. So having a mapping process is actually a lot smarter. And you'll see what I mean. Now, this mapping process and this whole logic and everything like that, you probably wouldn't even think about this, right? But I've been building for a very long time and I've experienced a lot of things and I'm familiar with that process because I've seen it a lot, right? So if you're familiar with different processes, you've seen things happen or implemented before, you can implement it as well in your app, which is awesome. Remember, I always say your only limit with AI is your imagination. So think on, my friends. Think on. All right, so it says it even agrees. That's the right call. A mapping step is far more predictable than guessing, especially for a messy real world export. Let me rework build flow so that after upload, you can pick the phone number column from a preview, which smart auto detection as default, right? So let's go ahead and see how that works now once it's done here. Where's my other CSV with a bunch of phone numbers that are real? Did I put that in documents? I'm trying to find this here. Desktop? No. I guess I will use this out scraper. I don't want to use it in Excel, of course. No, hold on one second. And I will show you how this really works in the real world here. So let me open this up and go to downloads real quick. Okay. Okay, let's see here. All right, so this one is a small list of, actually, you know what? Let me do this. I'm gonna, one second, guys. I want to make sure I give you a really good example. Out scraper. Let me open this with numbers because I'm on a Mac. Okay, so you have a bunch of a bunch of details about landscapers here. I'm just gonna go ahead and save this, not print this. I'm gonna save this as a export to CSV. Yep, and do it to downloads. Okay, so now we can go to upload CSV. Watch this, guys. This is gonna be really cool. Now we can see it does some mapping for us, right? So we can select the first row is a header, don't validate it, right? Which is true. And we're going to be able to select the row that we want as the phone number, right? So we can choose it here, 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 right? You can see me clicking. So we have a phone number here. It auto-selected that, actually. Very cool. Oh, and there's another field for phone numbers here. I don't think that's very much filled out. And this is another reason why you want to map, because if you export a CSV you're unfamiliar with, this gives you exposure to, hey, this column doesn't really have much information. The column here that has all the phone numbers is the one we want. And so what we're going to do now is this showing 5 out of 277 rows. We're going to say use phone. And now it's going to say validate 270 phone numbers from phone, ready to validate. And here we go. So now it's going to take us through a progress. It's going to validate all 270 at the same time. This is how fast it is, guys. It's really, really easy. This way, when you make this, the practical use of this app is if you make calls a lot, you can validate the phone number is real before actually making the call and wasting effort. Also, if it's a cell phone, you know you'll be able to text that phone number as well, which is awesome too. I always like to say if it's like a cell phone, to bypass, to kind of make it easier for people to pick up your phone call, right? With the new Apple blocking unknown numbers kind of thing. If you send a text with your name before you call, it's a little trick, but if you send a text before your name, before you call, it'll say maybe so-and-so, right? Because it grabs it from the text message, and that way they'll be like, oh, okay, I know this person, no pickup. No trick. So I validated 270 phone numbers, and I only spent $1, guys. $1.08. How amazing is that? Right? And now we know all of these phone numbers are valid, right? And I can already see one thing that I'd like to do, which would be to maybe even like, you could download a CSV of it too. You could do it in the CSV, but I'd like to maybe have like a sorting feature for like, or a filtering feature, only show cell phone numbers and then export that, right? That might be a really cool feature we can build into the future, but it looks like all these phone numbers here are okay. Like, see that? So now we can download this. 0 failed, 270 validated. Phone validator results. Let's open it up. And we have a new phone validation. All these numbers now are all fully functioning and validated. We can literally just call them and we know that this will be a real number. Very cool. All right, guys. So I walked you through the build of the app from start to finish, an iteration, a update, and also a really big improvement with the UI right here. We even get flags and everything, which is pretty cool. We actually saw the app work. We saw the bulk import of the app as well. We updated some things there to include mapping as well. So it's really, really thorough. And that is pretty much it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this live, my first YouTube live. And if you're watching this video as a recording, please also still comment if you have any questions about what we went over. I will be going live on YouTube every single day. I will definitely try to go on earlier so that way I can catch more people. But guys, thank you so much again for joining. My name is Sabian. I'm an AI consultant with Management Marketing Partners here in Miami, Florida. And we are building with AI, guys. Thank you for joining me on day 32 of the 100-Day AI Build Challenge, and have a great night. Take care.